Hello, I'm Odin, and today I'm going to make a prop that's almost practical. It's a spellbook for Magic the Gathering. It's practical if you play Magic the Gathering. I was asked to do a live demonstration during a live stream with Magic the Gathering. What they wanted me to do was make a spellbook. And the idea for the spellbook was pretty open. It could be as simple as a cover to go over a 9-pocket card protector, or I could do what I wanted to do, kind of. So my thought was, why not expand on the deck box idea? I can make a book that was just a little bit bigger. It could hold your favorite deck of cards and a spin down die. First thing I needed to do was put sleeves on a 60-card deck and then measure how big it is. From there, I worked up a basic plan of how I wanted the pieces to fit together. Now the cover is going to have all the personality of the spellbook, and my friend Felicia has suggested that I glue together layers of thick cardstock and then I could cover it with leather. And the design I wanted for my first spellbook is the black mana symbol. So I cut it out and then glued down the parts for the relief on the cover. And then I picked up a square of black leather. This is actually made for those craft cutting machines. So I've got a small pattern piece I made myself. This represents the back cover, the spine, and the front cover. And I've got 5 millimeters space between them because the cover is going to need to bend. It needs something to flex, right? That might be a little too much, I'm guessing. Because what I want to do is make it one big piece. I used contact cement to glue the cardstock to the leather, and then I mashed it down really good. And then I just pressed the leather into the details, but using my finger just wasn't good enough. So I used wooden tools to work the leather down into the details. This is the pointed back end of a spatula that came with one of my 3D printers. I also tried popsicle sticks and coffee stir sticks, but this wooden sculpting tool worked really well. And what you are seeing is a different cover that I made later. I trim off the extra leather and then I use it for the inside cover. And for the inside, this is my first idea, which at the end I really didn't like. Most video gear I've worked with is packed in a gray foam, so I thought I'd make the deck box the same way, with a foam cutout for the deck and for a D20 spin down die. That's got a foam base in the bottom. That's all foam, all right. I built up the sides with some black foam core, which will keep the foam from crushing. And I use the same leather on the inside cover. I don't want to look at the cardstock whenever I open the book. And then I cut little trim pieces to fit around the foam insert. Then I trim the edges back, leaving enough to encapsulate the cardstock. And this will give me a soft edge on the spellbook cover. You could also roll it over the edges of the cardstock and hammer it flat, which I actually tried to do on a different cover. I cut a strip of craft foam for the page edges and scored a series of lines down it. Now I'm not cutting all the way through the foam, I'm just lightly cutting lines into the top. When you use a heat gun on these lines, the foam shrinks a little and then opens all of these cut lines up, giving the hint of page edges in a closed book. And then I glue it around the 3 edges that'll not be glued to the spine. And I cut off the extra once it's on. I glue the pages in before I painted them, so I gotta tape everything off. I dry brush a linen color onto the pages, trying to make them look more like pages in a book. I don't want to just paint this solid. And I want a cleaner look than just the gray foam, so I covered it with some craft foam and glued the spine on. I really didn't like the way the insides looked, and the cards, they were way too tight of a fit to be practical. But the spin down die, that was happy, mostly. Well, at least they don't fall out. Over the next couple of days, I made 2 more books, each with a different cover. That's my red cover. I'm all right with that. The other book has a modified Boros Legion symbol. It's what my friend uses for his YouTube channel, Popperganda. With these new books, I changed how I did the insert. This version is easier to build and it looks a lot better. So I need to be honest with myself. I wanted to build one simply. I tried to make it as simple a cover as I could. I tried to make the inside as simple as I could. I'm really not happy with the inside. My first thought when trying to make any kind of case for anything is this type of soft foam, because that's what camera cases use. That's what equipment cases use, right? So that's what I'm used to seeing. First thing came to mind. This doesn't work at all. I don't like it. I don't like the way the cards fit in it. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like it. So I'm going to tear this out and replace it with a new one that I was working on that's going to be made out of just EVA foam. This will be a lot cleaner, the cards will fit easier, and it's going to look a lot better. I get to remove the first insert. It mostly just tore the top layer off the cardstock. There we go. Right in the bin. I'm going to replace it with an EVA foam tray. This has the same compartments for cards and the dice, plus a bonus one that I don't know what to use for, but it worked out that way. Because it's smooth-walled EVA foam instead of that other foam, the cards fall in much easier. They're a lot easier to get out. There's actually more room for them, and of course the die still has a very happy home. Glue a bottom onto the tray. I was really careful to not get glue where I didn't need it. Next thing I want to do is put the pages around the outside. The first time I did this, I just drew a bunch of individual lines. That worked fairly well. It took 3 or 4 minutes to do it neatly and slowly, so they were all kind of sort of parallel and they were all kind of... Anyway, because I made up 4 more of these for the live stream, I realized I needed a different tool. I wired a number of hobby knife blades together with washers as spacers. With this, I can cut multiple lines at once. It took 3 passes and I have all of my pages made. And I can also remove the wire and get all my blades back. Heat gun the lines open and dry brush the pages before I glue them on. Do I want to do this yet? I might need the pages to hide how I want to close the book. I don't want to glue the pages on yet. What I want to do is think about how I'm going to make this one close. So I had an idea. Some of the other ones I've done, they actually both close with magnets. This one literally just has a pair of magnets here and up here in the lid, and so it closes shut. This one, I've reused a purse clasp, which also happens to be a magnet, to hold it shut. And I'm pretty happy the way that one worked out. This guy, I wanted to put a loop that pokes up from here, that goes through a hole in the cover, that I could then take my old bone pen, this is a real bone, but it's a pen, and put it through the loop in order to hold it shut, because that seemed like a fairly Black Mana thing to do. So what I need to do is work out where I'm going to put that. And it can be a little low. My brain wants to put it center on the cover, because center on the cover, but realistically, I need it centered to the cards, because that's the important part to keep captured inside. Plus, putting it a little lower is probably going to make it fit a little better on the cover anyway. I cut a strip of leather from the last little piece that I had left over from the cover and started measuring where it needs to go on the book. The pages will have a bulge if I just glue them right over this leather, so I add some thin craft foam on either side of the strip first. And then I can glue the pages over the leather strap, which will make this part of the strap connection a lot stronger. Now I can glue the pages into the book, because I want this set in place before I cut a hole in the cover. This is my only black leather cover. Close the book and mark where the strap is. And I start to carefully cut out the hole. I'm starting out much smaller than I need. I want the hole to be the right size and in the right place. Good, it's way undersized in all directions. Okay. I take my time and I sneak up on the hole, being careful to keep the sides square. And when I think I have it right, I tape the loose end inside and test the fit. Yeah, that's what I wanted, exactly what I wanted. Look at that, it closed right away, it did it right. The first time, maybe not that time, the first time. That's what I wanted. Wanted to close. I need to stick out more than that by a lot, but that's what I wanted. I adjust the length of the strap until I get a snug fit on the bone pen. Yeah, that's what I want. All right. I'm going to be putting 2 layers of glue here because that is definitely a stress point. Putting the pen down the front is going to pull on that every single time, so I want to put 2 layers of glue to really make sure that sticks together. Here's the hard part. Gluing this on so it's square to the hole. So if I glue this on crooked, it won't close right, and that'll be a huge disappointment. Thank you. Add the bone pen, and the book is pretty much done. There's one other piece I wanted to add, and it's a little metal skull that I have. This is off of a bracelet that came from that goth store in the mall. I'll just super glue the peg in place. There. So now that I've got my black deck ready, I've got my red deck ready, and I have my propaganda deck ready, I guess I'm ready to do the live stream. Be right back.
Odin, these are incredible, and I love the range. Like I was genuinely expecting. I was like, oh, cool, this is great. We're gonna get Odin on. He's gonna make us one book. You've not made one.
We just have like pick your rainbow.
We have a library of books.
We have a library of books. Yes, absolutely. Most of the materials I used are available for order, and you can have them shipped right to you. I put a part list in the description. I want to thank Alyssa Judge, LSV, and Gabby Sparks for having me on their Magic the Gathering live stream with Secret Lair. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed myself. And the idea of making a spell book never would have occurred to me. The idea of making a prop to actually take to Friday Night Magic, that's really kind of cool. And these were a lot of fun to figure out, and I think you'd probably enjoy making them too. I'm going to take my pattern and put a link in the description, so if you want to, you can download it and make your own Magic the Gathering spellbook. Cover it with whatever you want. The personality comes with the covers, right? So wrap them up the way you want, and if you can, send me a picture because I'd love to see it. Because I know there's lots of different ways that you can make a spellbook, but this is how Odin makes. Doesn't matter how much of a rush you're in, you still gotta wait for glue to dry. Another few minutes. Hi, I'm on camera recording myself while I check my email. Because I'm waiting for glue to dry. I keep thinking this looks like the Necronomicon Ex Mortis. That'd be a really fun deck box to make. Not what I wanna do right now, don't get excited, but I think it'd be really kinda cool. I want to thank Caesar Gollum, John Bernard, and all of my Patreon supporters. My Patreon support is the #1 thing that makes this show possible. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe. Have an idea for something for me to make? Please leave a comment below. And if you make any of these projects, you can send me a picture.